Well, you heard the hour bell striking there, and it's going to be a bell tower visit for us this morning, and it's an interesting one. You get some stunning views from up there as well, and if you're into clock movements and bells, you'll enjoy this one. But the clock itself, the new clock was installed in about 1561-62 and was made by a Huguenot, Louis Billiard. It is one of the oldest clock turret clocks in the country, still functioning. The pendulum is a much later addition and swings in the body of the church. The present exterior clock face and the original quarter boys, so called because they strike out the quarters, bear that in mind, you'll be hearing those before we go in as well. Strike out the quarters, but not the hours, were added in 1760. Today, if you wish, you can climb the church tower, where you will see 8 bells now hanging there. These are not the originals that were stolen in 1377, but they were recast from those in 1775, and newer bells added as well. The total weight of the 8 bells and clapper is almost 5 tons. There are the quarter boys. We'll be returning at past to hear them strike. And it says there, "For our time is a very shadow that passeth away." You'll rejoin me at this spot at past, and we'll hear the quarter boys strike. I said I'd return us to this point for past, and so I have. And we'll be hearing the quarter boys strike out any minute. Just a minute or so. There you are, and they've been striking out since 1760, the quarter boys. You'll now join me inside the church. First we'll see the pendulum swinging in the main body of the church, and then we'll be climbing up into the bell tower. So, join me inside. And there is its pendulum swinging in the main body of the clock. We are now inside the bell tower area. Going up. I love this old handmade glass. You can see all the ripples and everything in it. Looking down into the main body of the church, and you have to go through this extremely narrow corridor. into its belfry. And here's that amazing clock movement by Louis Billiard. 1561, 1562. It has a pendulum which was adapted into the clock, which obviously swings back and forth. But before that, it had a thing called a foliot, which is like an arm with two weights on that would tick back and forth like that. It's electronically wound nowadays, but in its original day would have required a great winding key and a man to come up and wind it just there. This is the flywheel for the hours. And this later adaptation added on in the 1760s is the flywheel for quarter boys. And that tells us it'll be getting ready to chime soon. Queen Camilla visits Rye. Which occurred on Thursday, the 16th of May, 2024. And here is a letter relating to that. Buckingham Palace. Her Majesty the Queen has asked me to pass on her sincere thanks to you for the very warm welcome she received at St Mary's last week. It was a great pleasure for Her Majesty to visit this splendid church and to meet some of the wonderful community and volunteers who are clearly so important to the church and to Rye, to Royal Rye, that title given by Queen Elizabeth I of Rye Royal, including your brilliant bell ringers. I would be most grateful if you could pass on Her Majesty's sincere thanks and kindest good wishes to everyone who helped make her visit so special. Yours sincerely, Mrs. Sophie Densham, CVO, Commander of the Victorian Order. It's to Reverend White, the letter. Let's go up into where the bells are actually located. Suffolk and Chapman of London. Feckit, 1775. Look, the flat pack instructions of its day. 8. To tell the people who assembled this what bit goes where. That clicking noise just afterwards is the flywheel that I told you about that spins round when the hours strike. And that is a noise you not only hear but feel. Look at the old putt-log holes, the scaffolding of its day. And let's go up out onto the roof, shall we? And if you watched my Mermaid Street to Rye Castle tour video, you'll have heard these striking out on Sunday. Being rung by the bell ring is a lovely sound. And the views from up here are absolutely stunning. See, right across the town of Rye. Rye Castle just there. And the river, which will take you out to the sea. The River Rother. Our friendly neighbourhood dove. We'll call her Margaret. Rye train station just there. Down onto the rooftops of Rye. Looking right down onto Lion Street now. And just there is Simon the Pieman Old English Tea Rooms. And this one just there is Fletcher's house, a contemporary and associate of William Shakespeare. Down into the churchyard and Church Square, which leads around that way, and the old St Anthony's hostelry. The roof of the church. A lot of people carve their names on these slates when they come up here. Rye windmill. Church of St Anthony of Padua on Watchbell Street. Lamb House just there, a famous author's house that, and a really fascinating little museum. That little door there is where you access the mechanism things for the quarter boys you heard chiming. And here they are. Here's one of them anyway. There we are, that's the quarter past. Back down in the bell frame area now. And when they ring the bells, they're strung with these ropes onto the bell wheels that go down into the belfry below. Yeah, there aren't many of you that can say you flicked a bell. In 1775 these were recast, and using the metal from the bells that were stolen in 1777 as well, so that's a very interesting little factor. Back down in the belfry, and some information about the bells for those who are interested. In 1513, an earlier clock was installed to ring the hours, but it proved unreliable. 1561 was when the current clock that we see and hear was installed. 1761, the quarter boys added to the clock. And these are the original plans from 1775 when the bells were recast and added onto their bell frame.
Wie weit? Das ist die Uhr. Toll.
And although you can't hear them from inside because of the thick stone walls, that was just the flywheel and engagement for the quarter boy striking. It's amazing to think that it's been working since 1761, and the clock itself working since 1561-62. Well, that's our bell tower climb concluded. I hope you all enjoyed and found it interesting. And thanks very much for watching.